Our first solution description was around the awareness of alternative career options. This has already been discussed, and actually a lot of the ideas that were already discussed were similar things that we discussed in our group. So I'm just going to echo all of that, and I'm going to add to it just different things that we had on there. And so one of the ideas that came out of this is that not only should we be educating veterinary students about it, but also considering what is the pipeline to veterinary school, and can we in pre-veterinary curriculum educate about different career options so they're already thinking about these options, and even down to the elementary school level too. Another idea that came out of this was a lot of the public practice veterinarians don't necessarily need to be stationed anywhere in particular. And that creates an opportunity where potentially they could be stationed at veterinary colleges. And that could give them a lot of access to the students there, and students can have more exposure to those different types of practices. We also discussed different delivery methods for providing education to veterinary students, and one of those was just having free online videos or podcasts so that people could get the exposure if they're looking for that information, just have easy access to that information. Other venues that we discussed were at SABMA Symposium, through VBMA lectures, or even having that rolled into the curriculum.
So this was the sharing practice information topic. And kind of that first question, how can we improve this solution, really creating a DVM software dashboard kind of program using standard metrics. And again, it was mentioned earlier that AAHA has something to sort of get that started with key performance indicators through the mentorship program. Using that and then promoting that within the veterinary students as well as with the veterinary employers. And then again, reiterating to promote positive money conversations, really having those good conversations about building income and sort of the persuasiveness. Selling is not a bad word. Enhancing the understanding that sales is in the interest of the animal and it helps the business. Educating staff as well was another thing that came through on the importance of sharing practice information. It's really not just employer-employee DVMs. It also needs to be shared within the profession through the staff as well to understand the bottom line. Doing something like pie chart or whatever to have those key performance indicators, also to have something like the expenses broken up to the very dollar, just to have a better understanding of where costs go. To the question 2, in the sharing practice info, organizing, disseminating some sort of very user-friendly software system where you can plug in either, again, as the employer veterinarian or as the new associate, your numbers and clicking in those to see where you line up on a national scale. How you can improve is another key part of that. So, all right, here's where I stand. How do I get better at that? And having that linked right there so that you can improve those skills and use it in a advancing kind of way. And then lastly, kind of in the third question, who to involve? Obviously, the AAHA mentor program is already there and created. Also, very much so working with the students, working with the VBMA. We as veterinary practicing professionals need to understand what VBMA is already doing and what programs they already have, and that needs to be more widely distributed so that all of the practicing veterinarians recognize what VBMA members, what students already know about finances so that they can take that forward and continue to improve. So VBMA, academia, students, motivating students to want to do this open sharing, motivating veterinarians to want to do this sharing of financials. More to add? Anyone?
Good afternoon. Welcome to the cookie coma version of the afternoon. Everybody poke the person to your left in the shoulder, not so hard that you're going to harm them, but hard enough that you regain them. Thank you. I feel much better. I'm Dr. Rebecca Stinson. I am a practice partner in Central North Carolina in equine practice. I have a 5 2 intern equine practice. I also currently serve as your AVMA vice president. So a little bit about me before we start. So I'm going to talk about onboarding. So this is something that is really true to my heart. And I love the fact that Dr. McHugh said, please don't use the word mentorship when you stand up there. But I am going to use it just once, okay, Phil? Okay, great. So our number one way that we felt we could improve this solution and make it more impactful is to train the trainers. I think we recognize that some of the skills that we lack as practitioners and practice owners are the ability to teach new practitioners how to be successful practitioners. And certainly there are not great standardized tools out there to use, or at least they're not widely spread. So creating a modular program that could be easily disseminated to those who are interested, recognizing that it does require the practice owner or practice administrators to be interested in this process. And then establish a new grad mentoring program. And I don't think that's truly established, but promote the utilization of mentorship programs that are out there. Several state VMAs have excellent mentorship programs. Several of the national level organizations we already recognize have mentorship programs, so incorporating some of those. What do we recommend to enable this solution to be implemented at many locations? The number one was make AVMA pay for videos. I promise I did not pick that one. But with online CE and online video availability, so promoting the ease of dissemination of information, we recognize that communication is often a barrier to people picking up these tools. And so increasing the awareness by us walking out of here today, all knowing that AHA has a mentorship tool, that AAEP has a mentorship tool. Check your state VMA website. Do they have a mentorship tool that you can promote to your fellow practitioners or to the veterinarians in your neighborhood? And then sharing of the onboarding protocols that are already working. We know that several corporate practices already have great onboarding protocols in place. We can all learn from those. We can develop skills for our own practices using those. We can look at what the universities do for onboarding. There are many, many supermodels out there we don't need to recreate. Identify 10 common problems that your practice sees and establish protocols that you teach each new veterinarian. And then for how can members of other summit groups contribute, partnerships for financial success. So in assistance with creating videos, creating some continuing education opportunities and platforms for displaying those. Educators, we would like to see more performance skills coaching, not just for students and new grads, but also for some of us who are not as new as we once were. And then also educating students to ask specific questions regarding a practice's onboarding tools. We've taught a lot of the students to ask about financial plans, about average client transactions, about billing. But have we taught them to ask what the mentorship program or the onboarding program for that practice looks like? Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and thank you all for waking back up.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Powers, veterinarian from Northern Michigan, and I'm going to talk about quality treatment at lower costs. It's a topic that's near and dear to my practice career. I spent 29 years in a low-income area in southeast Michigan practicing, And then I sold that practice, and for 5 years, I did relief work in some rather affluent areas of Michigan, like Harbor Springs, Torch Lake, and Traverse City, and found a whole different level of practice. I guess I wasn't comfortable with that. 2 years ago, I bought a practice in another low-income area, so I'm back trying to provide quality care at lower costs when need be. Our group, as far as how can we improve the solution and concept, is one thing would be for development and teaching multiple protocols for therapy with respect to local standard of care to increase client compliance with patient treatment. We always want to recommend the gold standard, but we always also want to be able to bring forth silver and bronze to reduce cases of financial euthanasia and increase treatment of especially our lower income clients' pets and animals. We want to, another way is to increase staff to DVM ratios to lower overall costs of treatment. Also, many times there are other financial assistance resources such as local foundations that may be able to assist with client costs where clients who can qualify for those needs. Also, AVMF, I believe, has resources, and some clinics also have prepayment plans where clients on a budget can prepay for veterinary treatment and receive care for their pets at a slightly discounted cost. Those are all very helpful methods to increase utilization of veterinary medicine. What could we do to enable this solution? One thing could be utilize telemedicine and community mentoring by experienced DVMs to assist and enhance veterinarians who may be working in these underserved areas. Another thing could be retired or part-time experienced DVMs could assist in this effort. We could develop an organization similar to SCORE, the Society of Retired Executives in Veterinarians, to provide direct online or phone contact mentoring of veterinarians in these areas. How can other members of the summit groups positively impact this solution? Additional educational resources could be devoted to providing DVM students with the tools necessary to increase awareness and utilization in underserved, lower and economic areas. I know many colleges are partnered now with humane societies or shelter medicine groups to provide experience for students and exposure to this level of care, and more of that and more education in this will increase veterinary care to that large segment of our population which unfortunately may not receive veterinary care. You can make money in low-income areas. I've done it for a long time, and it can be profitable, and it's a great profession, so that's what I have.
On the last one, just for clarification, what's the relationship to the debt-to-income ratio as far, like, how is it helping solve the solution? Not saying it's not a huge need, I just want clarification on how we see that impacting. Is it increasing income that we're looking at there?
You would be overall increasing veterinary caseload in practices, which, yes, would increase income overall.
Let's go to this young lady in the front. So
I want to propose one more idea that veterinary professionals might want to consider. When we're looking at benefits that you're providing veterinarians, my generation, millennials, are not putting money towards 401k plans. They're not even thinking about that far in the future, mainly because they're so preoccupied with their student debt. So rather than saying it's a benefit that we will match your 401k plan, why aren't we saying we'll help you pay your student debt? We will match your monthly payments to whatever percentage you can, and start implementing that way so that we're actually decreasing the amount of interest they're getting over that many years and trying to help in that sense. So that's another idea I wanted to throw out there as well too.
Thank you. Other input or comments? Let's go right to the very back. Yes, sir.
It had been mentioned a minute ago about having some public practice jobs that aren't necessarily location-based and have those set up shop at universities. That's fantastic just from my perspective. I've ruled out some jobs because they require a specific location, so there's more than one positive to that.
Okay, Paul?
One quick comment, and then if I could find the note. So for those who are unfamiliar with the realities of what the students face with their debt, starting at the vet school at G150, a little after 5, they'll get food first, so 5:15. Tony Bartels is going to be giving his really good presentation on student debt, and the student said there's room for another 20 or so people, so it's about a mile away, so if you have a car, I'd recommend it. And then, just to address your comment, Hadley, in some ways, that would add income that would actually make worse the situation. But I would recommend that they look at their 401k as a way to save for forgiveness, and that would be the most beneficial way to do that if they could get matching. So it's a little bit of both, changing the mindset.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, hands going up? Yes, sir, this gentleman coming right behind you. Thank you.
I love your suggestion, Hadley. Great idea. The answer is it's a tax problem. And so the simple IRAs, the 401ks aren't subject to tax. That would be taxable income. So if we do a better job of educating people on how to save money on taxes, there is a lot of money that's going out the door that could stay on veterinarians' tables and thus contribute to income. But that goes back to the financial literacy piece on how to be better at taxes.
Other professions are doing it, so it is happening, but yeah, all the reasons I didn't go into are totally true.
Yes. Yeah. I would love to see an act of Congress that would do that, but that's what it would take at this point.
Yeah.
Let's move off tax onto another topic. Yes, I just can't see. Yes, sir.
Hi, I had a comment / question about, we're talking about business and financial literacy for new grads, but we all, have sort of the same general formal training in business, so I think if there was a way that we could increase business competency for vets that have been out for 10, 20, 30, 40, et cetera years, then they can make more money, and then they can pay the new grads more, and it'll just, keep snowballing that way. So the AVMA could offer more CE that was available easier for these guys that don't want to leave their practices, maybe.